Hey everyone, welcome back to the IT Investor Podcast, where we help tech professionals turn your 9 to 5 income into lasting wealth through real estate. I am Pramod Gudishetty.
And I'm Wally Taylor. If you're tuning in because you're working long hours in tech and wondering why or how to make your money work harder for you, then you're in the right place. We're here to help you go from hard code commits to hands-off cash flow.
Today's guest is someone who has created serious traction in real estate while raising a family and helping others do the same. Matt Shepard is the founder of AMS Capital, and he started his journey with just $10,000 during the 2009 housing crash. Today, he manages a multi state real estate portfolio and empowers executive parents to build passive income without the burnout.
Yeah, Matt has a ton of insights for busy professionals. Whether you're already investing or still stuck in analysis paralysis, you're going to love this one. Matt, first of all, thanks for joining us today. We know you're a busy guy. You've got your syndication that you run, your portfolio. You've got a family. I know you're a mountain climber, so you got mountains waiting to climb. We're really excited to have you here today. So
Yeah, glad to be here today. Thanks.
let's take it back to where it started. I'll try to paint the picture really quick. It's 2008, 2009. We're in the middle of the greatest economic collapse we've seen in our generation. Millions of mortgages are defaulting. World financial markets are crashing. Everyone's starting to panic, but you went the opposite way. You cashed out your IRA to invest in real estate. What gave you the confidence to take that leap?
I mean, I think a lot of credit goes to my wife being super supportive of me. So I'll throw that one in there in the beginning and give my wife credit. But also, we just saw the opportunity to buy a property and we could get a mortgage that would be about half of what the rental income would be every month. So it was easy cash flow as far as making numbers work. You know, we buy a property in, let's say, Aurora, Colorado, and our mortgage would be $800 a month, and we could rent it for $1,600 a month all day long. People were lining up to rent these properties at $600, $1,600 a month. So the cash flow just made sense in so many ways that it was kind of a no-brainer for us.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, cash flow is king, right, in real estate, and you cannot get attached to the property. You need to run your numbers. So, having said that, Matt, you have coined the term executive parent. Can you break down what executive parent means and why traditional investing just doesn't cut for this group?
I mean, these are people that are busy. They've got 9 to 5 jobs, or maybe, 6 to 6 jobs. Maybe it spills into the Saturdays too, and Sundays maybe even too. And they're making high W-2 income, or maybe they're building their own business and they're making good income that way, but they're not W-2. And they're just super busy and they want to make sure that they're providing for their families, but not taking more time away from their family because they know that that time with their family is precious. The kids are growing up fast and stuff like that. And they want to be able to create a legacy for their kids and for their family, but not take more time away from them.
Got it. So, Matt, you have made it your mission to help this group achieve financial freedom through passive real estate investing. What inspired you to focus on this niche?
I mean, I think a lot of us focus on the niche that we are in, right? I started in 2008, 2009. We were easily working 100-hour weeks every week. And then eventually we decided to have a kid and we wanted to step back from that. So I'm just the same as any other executive parent. And I want to provide a legacy for my family, just like they want to provide a legacy for their family. So I'm just trying to help the people that I can resonate with just as much as they can resonate with me.
It definitely resonates with me. I understand that those long hours and wanting to have that time back for your family and the things that you want to do. Let's switch gears for a second. Let's focus more on strategy. How'd you go about identifying some of those strong investment opportunities at the time?
In the beginning, we would just search the MLS. We had a real estate agent. He was super experienced. He helped us along. I kind of credit him with being my mentor for, the first 10, 15 years of my journey. But he would search the MLS. I would search the MLS. We'd find a good deal. We always did value add, so these deals were probably in distressed condition, but we'd find a good distressed property value by rehabbing it in some way, finishing basements, fixing kitchens, etc. And we'd buy these properties for, I guess you could say, 50 cents on the dollar. Buy them for 50% of what we could appraise them for when we were done fixing them up. So then those properties would just cash flow really well and we'd keep them and rent them out. We still have some of those properties that we bought back in 2010-ish today.
Oh, okay. So, how was this experience back when you started on, and how long did you continue this rehab?
I mean, when we started, it was kind of unique because a lot of people were concerned that, the market crash, you weren't going to be able to get properties. But again, I could find a good property, rehab it, rent it for twice my mortgage. So I made cash flow every time I did a deal. We cashed out a $10,000 IRA that had kind of been sitting around from a previous job change and went to town using that as a down payment and kind of a cash injection to get going.
Yeah, it's quite impressive to learn that you started with just about 10,000, that too from a IRA. So this definitely proves that you don't really need a lot to start something in real estate. This is a great advice for the viewers. So, having said that, so you started by purchasing these single family homes and doing these value adds. So, how did you, or in other words, what are you doing now and how did you progress from this asset class?
I mean, I think we just kind of took the natural step. We started with single families. I kind of always jump in with both feet. So we actually started with, I think, about two properties at the same time, closed within a couple of weeks of each other, and jumped right into being a landlord and rehabbing two properties to turn into rentals right away. And then kept finding more deals, kept doing more deals. Eventually, we're like, oh, single families are kind of an extra headache because they're all super unique. And then we started into multifamilies in the Denver metro. Multifamilies in the Denver metro grew into multifamilies outside of the Denver metro. And now we're actually trying to kind of move away from the Denver metro because it's just gotten so tough to be a landlord in the Denver metro. Tenants' rights have gotten way more, I don't know what you want to say,
Or you mean to say
aggressive.
not landlord friendly?
Yeah, it's not landlord friendly. It's the rights have definitely swung in the favor of the tenants now. So we're actually looking to get rid of any kind of rental property we have in Denver. I mean, we're not fire saling it, but if a tenant says, "Hey, I'm not going to renew and I'm going to move out," I'm not going to release the property. I'm going to go ahead and rehab it, list it on the MLS for a new home buyer or something to buy. And then we're moving outside of the Denver metro and looking for other areas that we like and doing our diligence on other areas and finding those areas and making deals in those ones, hopefully.
Okay. And when you say in other areas, which state are you referring to, Matt?
Oh, you want me to just like give away the secret sauce, huh? I mean, I looked throughout the nation and I really like the Southeast. Southeast is a bit more landlord friendly. The laws are a bit more easier to deal with and get tenants in and out of properties when they're not paying. I kind of really focused in on Alabama, northern Alabama in particular, because I don't like the hurricanes in southern Alabama. But I like the area around Huntsville, Birmingham. There's some other smaller kind of secondary markets that feed into those two markets.
Got it. And how big are these multifamilies again? And how many units?
We're just getting started kind of in the last 12 months there in northern Alabama. So right now we've got 14 units, two
Right.
smaller multifamily properties.
That's really interesting. So not to rewind a little bit, but I'm just curious, when you first started investing in the single family, were you still working a full-time V2 job or had you transitioned to just doing the real estate full-time?
Actually, no, I guess I wasn't. Again, I'll give credit to my wife. She's actually an IT professional. She's a business analyst and she had a solid W-2 income. So that helped a lot. We could get loans that some people couldn't get because they didn't have a solid W-2 income. But we saw the opportunity. I was working a construction job, and instead of working for somebody else, I just started working for myself essentially. Started buying properties, rehabbing the properties. And then, like I said, with her W-2 income, it made it easier for us to get more loans and keep doing it over and over.
It's really cool. So a lot of our listeners are parents, IT professionals like your wife, kind of the same setup. They work long hours, barely have time to research dinner sometimes, let alone do investment research. For somebody with limited time, what do you think the best way is to get started in real estate?
I mean, if I could give a shameless plug, I would say go to my website. I've got tons of blogs, tons of videos, a couple of books you can read. Hopefully, everything's pretty bite sized. definitely specialize in busy parents. So I figure if somebody can spend, 5, 10, 20 minutes on my website, reading a blog, listening to a podcast, etc., after their kids go to sleep, it can kind of get a feel for what's out there, what's available for them, what they can invest in.
Yeah. So, Matt, I mean, initially you were doing all the work, right? I mean, you were on the ground, like boots on the ground in Denver, and you slowly transitioned to multifamily and that to out of state in Alabama. So, how did you personally go from being hands on with deals to building a passive system that gives you more time and freedom?
That's actually a tough question, I would say, because I still end up getting hands on more than I probably should or would like to. But sometimes I actually like to get hands on because it's kind of relaxing to go swing a hammer instead of crunch a spreadsheet every once in a while. Um, I guess it's just probably focusing on what the best value is for my time. And obviously, swinging a hammer is not the best value for my time. So, finding more deals, talking to lenders, talking to investors, all those kind of things are certainly more valuable for my time than swinging a hammer. So, I try and keep reminding myself of that, like, what's the highest use of my time?
And what role does mindset play in this financial independence?
I mean, I think mindset's probably everything. When we started out 2009, everybody thought real estate was going to just continue to crash. And it's like, how can that continue to crash? I couldn't understand that. But I saw the opportunity that I could buy a property and rent it for twice the mortgage. Just kept my eye on the fact that I could do that and ignored the naysayers out there and just kept my head down and kept building.
Great, great. That was good. So let's step back a little bit. And I wanted to ask you, was there a particular mental shift or habit or a book that helped you to start thinking differently about building wealth?
One, stuck it over here on my desktop. The Hands Off Investor by Brian Burke. And then also, again, shameless plug again, I've written a couple of books, and one of them's kind of about how to value your time and get the most reward for your time. And that's called The Time Crunched Investor.
Nice. Is it on Amazon or?
It's on Amazon. If you go to my website, you can get it for free too. I've got it on Amazon super cheap. So if you want to go out to Amazon and support me, I don't really make any money off of it, but maybe that's an easier way to get it.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah. So one thing that stops a lot of our tech folks from scaling is not knowing where to find capital for their next deal. Is there a strategy for building investor relations and growing your capital base that you use?
I mean, I think you really just need to know who you really resonate with, who knows exactly what you're trying to do, and also if you know exactly what they're trying to do. If your people seem like you're 35, 45, time crunched tech people, like if you're a 25-year-old something, you're not going to resonate with that. So I always try and talk to my investors about the pain points that I had growing a business and then how I solved those pain points by doing multifamily real estate.
Okay. So basically, it's like you need to resonate with somebody just like you appears to be.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not just like you, right? But you definitely have to be able to sympathize with what they're going through. Are they doing late night calls? Are they doing late night releases? Are they doing releases till 6 in the morning because it's going all night? What are they going through? And what do you have to offer that can solve that problem for them?
And how do you build trust with new investors, Matt, who might be hesitant to try something, say, outside of stocks or 401ks?
I mean, we're doing this podcast here on April 4th, and the market's down, what, 20% today and yesterday? So
Yeah, quite a wild ride.
right there would be a big pain point for me if I had everything in my K in the Nasdaq or in the NYSE. So I feel like pointing out that real estate can be way more stable and way more boring is a good way to start. But then also, like, I'm super transparent on everything I do. Like, if you wanted to fly out and meet me at a project, I would be happy to fly out there and meet you, and we could walk through a project. I do video walkthroughs, show you where a project is in like a rehab capacity, if we're down to the studs or if we're back up to drywall or what's going on, I'll walk a property and do a video just as a matter of course. If I'm on site, I'm checking it out and I'm doing a walkthrough. And then if you want to see financials from me, I'm happy to provide you financials. I feel like my spreadsheet could be a little intimidating for a lot of people. So I usually give them kind of a basic spreadsheet. And then if they want to see the deep dive spreadsheet that tells them 6 different ways we can exit this property and have a good result, I'm happy to share it too.
I love it. I love it. So how do you think about legacy wealth and involving your family in part of your real estate journey?
Yeah. So if you go onto my website, you'll see my daughter do a walkthrough of a property that we're working on in the Denver metro right now. So we're always trying to like keep her involved, show her that, hard work pays off, make sure that she's not just, what I want to say, becoming entitled, because she's got a lot of advantages that some people don't or some people didn't grow up with. So we're always trying to make sure that she's grounded. So I think that's how we keep our legacy strong and make sure that she's ready to take over for us, maybe. If she does, she does. If she doesn't, either way, we don't care.
So, speaking of family, tell us a little bit about your world outside of real estate. What hobbies you have? I mean, kids, any recent dad wins or parenting lessons from the field?
Ooh, dad wins. I don't know if that was on the prep sheet. I mean, every morning when she wakes up and she doesn't be super cranky, I'm pretty happy about that. She's not a morning person. I'm a complete morning person. I am up 5, 6 a.m. every day. Start working by 6 a.m. usually every day. So every morning when she like gets to school on time without a ton of fighting and ton of crankiness, that's a pretty big win. But spending time with her is awesome. She's 8 years old, so she's going on, I don't know, maybe not 18, but 13. Got her own little attitude. But then sometimes she's awesome to be around. Like she was helping me destroy a wall at a property the other day. Having those little wins, I think it's probably the big way to go, is having the little wins instead of all the big wins.
Yeah, it sounds really fun bringing them out and doing that work with them too.
Yeah.
Really cool.
And then we are pretty active outdoors as a family too. We go skiing. She's been doing pretty good on her skiing this last season. We're coming up towards the end of the season. Ski resorts close here in a week or two, but she had a pretty good season. Got better at getting down blue runs and stuff like that. And then here we're coming into spring and summer. We'll probably go rock climbing together as a family too. So try and stay active and do things outside of real estate, not just real estate.
Gosh, I love actually, what all the residents of Colorado do. When I was in Colorado, I was amazed. Everybody pretty much has some kind of hobby, whether it is trekking, mountain climbing, rock climbing, or rafting, or whatnot.
Yeah, we're all super active. I mean, that's why we live here. My wife and I, and even my daughter, have traveled throughout the world, really, quite a few different places. And we can't really find another place where we'd like to be besides Colorado.
So let me ask you this. What's next for AMS Capital? Any big goals coming up for 2025 or even after?
I mean, we want to just keep helping the families. Our big KPI, our big motivator is to just find families that we can help. I mean, if I could help another 10, 15 families this year secure their financial future, secure their legacy by investing in syndications and real estate, that'd be awesome. If I could get to a point where I could say, I put 10, 15, 20, 30 kids through college because their families invested with me in one of my syndications or multiple syndications with me, that would be the best result ever.
And Matt, are you doubling down on any specific markets or asset classes, maybe even launching a fund? And if so, where can viewers learn about it?
If you want to learn about a fund, we have to jump on a call and see if it's a right fit for you first. But you can learn all about me on my website. I've got blog posts on there about stuff we've done in the past, stuff we like to do in the future. We really like to focus on workforce housing, which is the housing that's usually for, let's say, teachers and firefighters and stuff like that. Those essential people that don't make a ton of money, but still want a nice place to live. So we really focus on the workforce housing. Feel like that demand is never going to go away. If you focus on luxury stuff and the economy crashes, then maybe people in the luxury stuff come down to the workforce housing. So the workforce housing seems to always have some kind of a need or desire And then you're helping out the community too. You're providing a good place for people to live that are essential to the community. So we like to stay in the workforce housing to keep things regular and keep investments safe.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like a smart way to go. Well, why don't we try wrapping this up with a quick, we like to call the rapid fire lightning round. You guys want to try this?
Yeah, let's do it.
This will be our first time, actually. All right, so here we go. Before we let you go, Matt, we're going to ask you a couple questions. Quick response. Your favorite real estate podcast or book?
I mean, I follow a lot of the Bigger Pockets podcasts, so I feel like they're pretty basic, easy to understand, and can give you a lot of knowledge on real estate really quickly.
They're also from Colorado.
Yeah. I don't know how much they're from Colorado anymore because it seems like all their hosts are throughout the nation and even the world, but they definitely did start out in Colorado.
Sounds like a lot of good investors coming out of Colorado. So kudos to you guys. Most underrated market people aren't talking about.
I mean, I'd really like to talk about Birmingham, I think, but yeah, I mean, but I like Birmingham, so that would be my suggestion. A lot of potential for growth there, I think. A lot of deals coming out of Birmingham and stable and a lot of workforce demand.
This is a good one. Worst deal you've done and what you learned from it.
Worst deal. I think worst deal would probably be something to do with fix and flips because we did a lot of fix and flips along our way. And probably what you learn from it would be just really vetting contractors. That's probably the toughest thing that I do. Toughest thing that my team does is just vet contractors because you never really know until you're halfway through the project how well they're doing, how well they're going to do. And I'd love to give you some great tips for that, but I think it's kind of just a gut reaction thing. If you meet with somebody and they say, yeah, this is going to be the easiest and I'm going to crush it, then maybe you should probably find somebody who's like a little more down to earth. And if the opposite is true, then they're like, oh, this is going to be such a tough deal for us to get done, such a tough project. Maybe find somebody who's more middle of the road, down to the earth on your construction project.
Absolutely. We talked about mindset earlier. What was one mindset shift that changed the game for you?
A lot of people try to do everything themselves, I think, right? And I think finding people that can help you along the way is probably the better way to go. I always get the name of the book mixed up, but it's Who Not How, I think. And that's a really good book for kind of changing your mind shift and learning that you can find the right people to work with instead of just trying to do it all yourself.
So, Matt, thanks for sharing your journey and dropping us some serious wisdom today. You have shown us that you don't need to give up family dinners to build real wealth. Matt, how can our viewers reach you?
Easiest way is my website, AMS Capital, LLC.com. Got everything on there, a bio about me. You can see family time with my kids on there, and wife. You can see some of the deals that we've done, some of the markets we like, some video walkthroughs of some of our projects. Pretty much everything's on there. And then if you want to learn more, you can book a call with me there. Interesting thing too is I've delved pretty deep into AI, clones, and etc. So if you're up at 2 a.m. and you want to talk to my AI clone, he can talk to you and you can pretty much ask him anything that you think you could ask me and he can answer it just like me. I've trained him enough to be able to do just about anything I could do. Well, except for swing a hammer.
All right, so if you're listening and wonder how to get started, let's take Matt's advice. Get educated, start small, and focus on long-term freedom. And of course, subscribe to the podcast and follow us.
We'll be back next week with another story that bridges tech and real estate. Until then, keep investing in what matters.
And remember, just because you work in tech, it doesn't mean you have to code into retirement. Build the life you want, one deal at a time.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks.